Becoming Sister Wife, Part 3. And enjoy their husband's company in the same way I have. This for me is one of the show's greatest blessings. The other blessing, of course, is creating a more tolerant world for our children. Not long after the first season aired, Cody and I were at a restaurant near our house. It was obvious that we were on a romantic date. We were holding hands, being our usual affectionate selves. The waitress kept giving us the evil eye. I didn't understand her behavior. What had we done to upset her? Then Cody realized what was wrong. He had been at the same restaurant with Mary a week earlier and had been served by the same waitress. She obviously thought he was stepping out on his wife. He wanted to let the misunderstanding slide, but I decided to speak up. "Excuse me," I said to the waitress. "I know that you think something strange is going on here. I wanted to clarify the situation. I am this man's wife. The woman you saw him here last week is also his wife. We are a plural family." Her eyes widened, first in shock, then realizing. "Oh," she said, "you're that family from TV." Immediately her demeanor changed from frosty to friendly. It felt immensely liberating to be completely honest about our marriage. While I had my reservations about the show when Cody first mentioned it, I now know that this has been a remarkable step forward for our relationship. More and more people recognize us these days, not just in our hometown, but all over the country. While I'm not comfortable with being called a celebrity, I do love the outpouring of support we receive. I love it when I see someone identifies with our family and is able to see that we all have something in common. Still, it's disconcerting when a person I've never met walks up to me on the street talking about as if she knows me and she's only seen me on TV. Sometimes I want to say, "Don't judge me on the show alone." But I never say this because people identify with our struggles and our decision to open our lives to the world. I don't want to alienate anyone. Growing up polygamous has made me aware of all the repressed people in the world who are treated as second-class citizens on the account of their beliefs, their choices, or their races and ethnicities. Living the way I do and being treated as I had been made extremely tolerant and open-minded, we all have the right to choose our partners in this life. Every adult should be able to choose whom to love and practice the faith of his or her choice. I hope that our story goes a long way toward making this possible in our community and for others who are persecuted. I feel confident that I'll be able to change the world off my list last. One of the other things on that list I've been able to check off is meet Oprah. Oprah has been one of my heroes, a person I respect in all ways. While I put this goal on my list, I never in my wildest dreams imagined it would become true. So I was astounded when our publicist booked us on Oprah to promote the show. Before we went to Chicago for the taping, I rehearsed in my mind what I would say to Oprah when things were at their worst in my life. During the end of my first marriage and divorce, I would watch Oprah every afternoon with tears running down my face. "This woman is wonderful," I say it now, even if there was no one in the room. I wanted to tell her this. I wanted to let her know how much she has meant to me during my hard times. She was the bright spot in my day. Oprah was my favorite escape. When we arrived on set for the Oprah show, it looked nothing like it did on TV. Pristine and graceful, awash in soft colors and low lights. Instead, it was rickety. The furniture looked temporary. It was cold. It felt more like a warehouse than a studio. On stage with my microphone on, I felt distant from the audience and the whole Oprah experience. When you watch Oprah on TV, it's a magical experience. The environment is warm and friendly. It's a place for dreams and aspirations. But sitting there in the cold sound danger, I realized that Oprah is just a television show like all other television programs. It creates fantasies for the at-home viewers. It's part make-believe and invites them into a world that doesn't entirely exist. I realized that the magic I had watched on TV wasn't real. It was interesting to watch Oprah deal with her team of producers and camera people. We watched her take care of mundane details that go into producing her show every day. Without the high gloss of the television camera, Oprah could have been another businesswoman. When the show assistant sat me beside her, I took my chance. I leaned over to her and told her she was wonderful and an inspiration to me. She was humble and sweet. I realized that Oprah was just a woman like me. She already dealt with the same kind of scrutiny, pressure that the camera and the audience can put on you as I did, just in a bigger way. I realized that I had made her into some sort of demigod when she probably had just been doing what she felt God had called for her to do. It was really grounding for me. It made me realize that TV or not, we are all just people trying to get through the day. Being on such rides has taught me so much about myself and others. I have realized that while such rides tells our story, the real magic is in our own home. No matter how many televised interviews I do, how many famous people I meet, how many seasons or show runs, there's one constant in my life, and what matters to me is when the dust settles and the lights are turned off is what mattered before all this started. My family, my faith, my love, and my responsibility to myself and others, and that is chapter 16.